What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Rampage Jackson has made a bold claim about Jon Jones, saying he truly believes Jon actually trains eye pokes as part of his defense. According to Rampage, Jon isn't careless or reckless in the cage. He's calculated, methodical, and everything he does has a purpose. Rampage explained that Jon is one of the most strategic fighters to ever step inside the UFC octagon. He said Jon knows exactly what he's doing at all times, especially when it comes to those infamous eye pokes. Rampage said, "Let me tell you something about Jon Jones. That man's mind is on a completely different level from ours. He knows what he's doing when he fights. Those eye pokes aren't accidents. That's his defense mechanism. When you're moving forward on him, trying to close the distance, he uses that reach and those extended fingers to make sure you can't get close." He added that Jon uses his long arms to keep opponents at bay, stretching them just far enough that they can't land, but he can still make contact. Rampage insisted this isn't coincidence. It's intentional, and something Jon has practiced repeatedly. He went on to claim that Jon has even admitted to it in interviews before, saying things like, "It might be illegal, but it works." Rampage said he's seen clips where Jon openly talked about using that tactic because it helps control distance and slow down aggressive fighters. To him, that's proof that Jon knows exactly what he's doing, and that it's all part of his strategy. Rampage also described Jon as one of the most intelligent and tactical fighters the sport has ever seen. He said Jon comes up with insane game plans every time he fights. He studies his opponents, finds their weaknesses, and then uses every tool available, legal or not, to win. Rampage believes Jon's ability to combine strategy, reach, and mental warfare makes him one of the most dangerous fighters in UFC history. He emphasized again that Jon's actions inside the cage are never random. Everything is deliberate, from his stance to the way he manages distance. In Rampage's view, Jon's success isn't just about athleticism, it's about his understanding of timing, space, and control. Whether people agree with his tactics or not, Rampage made it clear that Jon Jones operates on a level very few fighters can even comprehend. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Justin Gaethje has revealed the 3 hardest strikes he's ever taken in his entire career. Speaking honestly, Gaethje said that Max Holloway tops the list without a doubt. Max Holloway was definitely number 1, he said. "That was the first and only time I ever went to sleep." He then mentioned Michael Johnson, recalling how hard those punches landed during their fight. "Michael Johnson hit me with 2 very good shots. I don't even know how I didn't go to sleep from those," he added with a laugh, but he counted that as one. Lastly, Gaethje remembered his bout against James Vick, saying, "Before I knocked him out, he caught me with a perfect liver shot. It was weird, man. That one checked my liver hard." Even for someone as tough as Gaethje, those strikes were moments that truly tested his legendary durability inside the octagon. Moving on to another news, a surprising story has surfaced involving Khabib, Dana White, and Jon Jones. Olympic wrestling legend Abdulrashid Sadulayev recently revealed that Khabib once offered Dana White a fight between him and Jon Jones for $500,000. According to Sadulayev, the conversation happened in a light-hearted setting, but quickly caught attention because of how unexpected it was. He said it all started when he was talking with Khabib, who happened to be sitting right next to Dana White. During their conversation, Khabib turned to Dana and said, "Come on, let's make a fight." Sadulayev asked, "Against who?" And Khabib just laughed, saying, "What's the difference?" "Against whoever." Sadulayev replied, "Of course there's a difference. What's the pay?" Khabib responded, $500,000. That's when Sadulayev realized Khabib was half joking, but also serious enough to throw the idea out there. Then he asked again, "Who exactly would I be fighting?" And Khabib pointed to Dana, saying, "Jon Jones." Sadulayev laughed, saying, "Come on, Jon Jones. He's a legend. $500,000 for that isn't serious money." He went on to explain that while they joked about it, he also told Khabib, "Why are you undervaluing me?" They all shared a laugh about it, and Sadulayev said he told them, "All right, I'll think about it." But what happened next was even more surprising. The very next day, Jon Jones made a post announcing that he was retiring from MMA. Sadulayev laughed as he recalled it, saying, "I told them we shouldn't have started that conversation." The story quickly went viral because fans couldn't believe Khabib would jokingly try to book a fight between the world's best wrestler and one of MMA's greatest fighters. Even though it was never a serious negotiation, the fact that Khabib threw out the idea shows just how playful and unpredictable things can get when legends like these are in the same room. Moving on to another news, Ante Delia has finally responded to Tom Aspinall's recent comments about vacating the heavyweight title rather than fighting him. Delia, who is a close friend of Aspinall, is set to face Waldo Cortez Acosta this weekend. But before his fight, he addressed both Tom's remarks and the controversial eye poke incident from UFC 321. As many remember, ahead of that event, Aspinall made headlines by saying that if the UFC ever tried to book him against Elijah, he'd rather give up his belt than fight his friend. That statement didn't sit well with Dana White, who immediately voiced his frustration, saying he absolutely hates when fighters refuse to face friends. Dana called the idea insane, making it clear that in the UFC, the best should always fight the best, regardless of personal relationships. Now, Delia has shared his own thoughts on both topics, showing nothing but class while standing by his friend. Speaking to media this week, Delia said, "I think he did a great job with not continuing after that eye poke. If more fighters did the same thing, maybe we could prevent these things from happening again. Absolutely, 100% more fighters should do the same, and those who cause eye pokes should be punished more severely." He continued by pointing out his own clean record, saying, "I've had 33 fights, and I've never poked someone in the eye. I believe the punishment for that kind of action should be serious." When asked about Tom's comment regarding vacating the title, Delia was very respectful. "He's a really dear friend of mine," he said, and with that statement, he showed his true character. "I also wouldn't fight him for the belt." It's rare to see two top heavyweights share this kind of loyalty in a sport driven by competition, but both Delija and Aspinall have made it clear that their friendship goes beyond business. With Delia preparing for his upcoming fight and Aspinall waiting on what's next after the eye poke controversy, fans can only admire the mutual respect these two share at the highest level of the game. Moving on to another news, Muhammad Mokaev has expressed his frustration with the UFC for portraying him as a bad guy. The young fighter, who now competes under the Brave CF banner, recently opened up about his experience in an interview with MMA Fighting. Mokaev explained that what hurt him the most wasn't his contract situation or leaving the organization, but rather how the UFC painted him in the media as someone difficult to work with. He said that if a fighter truly does something wrong, it's understandable to face the consequences, but in his case, the narrative was completely unfair. Mokaev stated, "You know what got me upset? If you do something wrong, you don't get upset, you get what you deserve. But when you haven't done anything wrong and you're shown in the media as a bad guy, that's what really got to me." He emphasized that false stories can easily damage a fighter's reputation and make it harder for them to move forward. Mokaev went on to say that he never had issues with the UFC when it came to professionalism or conduct. In fact, he pointed out that the promotion had renewed his contract twice while he was still part of the roster, each time with better pay. "If I was really a bad guy, if I was hard to deal with, they would have cut me immediately," he said. "You don't keep a problem fighter for 7 fights in your organization. That's just not how it works." The young prospect also made it clear that his main issue wasn't money or fame, but honesty and respect. He said that when an organization with such influence labels someone unfairly, it can follow them for years and affect how fans and other promotions view them. Despite everything, Mokaev remains focused on his next challenge. He is scheduled to compete on November 7th under the Brave CF promotion and hopes to remind fans of what he brings to the cage: discipline, determination, and skill. For Mokaev, it's not about revenge, but about restoring his name and proving that his actions speak louder than the image others tried to create. Moving on to another news, Max Holloway has made it clear that he absolutely hates doing media. During a recent conversation, the former champion admitted that interviews and podcasts are something he only does when he's legally required to. "I'm sorry, bro, I hate doing pods," he said. "The only time I do media is when I'm legally obliged to do it. I hate talking. I hate doing that stuff." Max went on to explain that it's not about the people, but the repetition that makes it frustrating. "It's usually the same questions over and over and over again," he said. Despite his dislike for media duties, Holloway always remains professional and respectful, but it's clear he'd rather let his performances inside the octagon do the talking than sit down for interviews that feel repetitive and forced. Moving on to another news, Alex Pereira has just leaked old DMs with Joaquin Buckley, revealing a behind-the-scenes moment from early 2022 that fans never knew about. Back at the UFC's first ESPN card in January 2022, Buckley was scheduled to face Abdul Razak Al Hassan, but Razak pulled out due to a shoulder injury. Hungry to stay on the card, Buckley immediately asked for a replacement opponent, and that's when the UFC reportedly offered him Alex Pereira. Buckley claims he accepted the fight without hesitation, ready to take on anyone, but was later informed that Alex wouldn't have enough time to prepare for the bout. In a resurfaced clip, Buckley explained what really happened that week. He said, "So Razak went ahead and said he had a little shoulder injury. They called me up, told me he pulled out, and I was like, come on, bro. They said they could reschedule it, but I told them, no, find me a fighter. I don't care who it is. I just want to fight." According to Buckley, his manager Brian called him back sounding uneasy. "He didn't even say the name yet," Buckley recalled, "but I already knew it in my heart. I said, is it Alex for real?" And he was shocked, like, how did you know that? Buckley laughed it off and said, "I just had a feeling, man. But that's who they want me to fight? Let's do it. I'm a dog. I gotta eat." However, soon after, his manager gave him some bad news, saying Pereira wouldn't be taking the fight because his coaches felt they wouldn't be ready in time. Buckley said he was disappointed but still proud that he was the one willing to step up and fight Pereira on short notice. "Be honest with you," Buckley added, "I was planning on knocking that man out too." Now, years later, Alex Pereira decided to leak their DMs from that exact time, proving that he hadn't forgotten about Buckley's call-out. The messages showed Buckley sending Alex a post, to which Pereira replied, "Why did you send me this post? Of the 15 that ran, you were the first. Now go back to the end of the line." It was a classic Pereira response, cold, confident, and dismissive. Although both men have since moved to different weight classes, the rivalry has unexpectedly reignited with this leak. Pereira has gone on to achieve massive success, becoming a two-division UFC champion, and now teasing a potential move up to heavyweight. Meanwhile, Buckley has dropped to welterweight and recently suffered a loss to Kamaru Usman back in June. The two are now miles apart in career trajectories, and the matchup that almost happened will likely never take place. At 38 years old, Alex Pereira's UFC career is nearing its later stages, but every time he makes a move, it dominates headlines. With Pereira's star power rising faster than ever, fans can only expect his remaining fights to be nothing short of blockbuster events against the biggest names in the sport. Moving on to another news, Deiveson Figueiredo was reportedly involved in a car accident earlier today, but thankfully he's doing fine. The former UFC champion shared a short video on his Instagram showing the aftermath of the crash. In the caption, he wrote, "Thank God for the deliverance. I had an accident today. A lady driving at high speed, apparently on the run, came out of a secondary street and hit the middle of my vehicle, causing my car to flip over several times." Despite the violent crash, Deiveson appeared calm and grateful in the footage, expressing relief that he escaped without serious injuries. Fans flooded the comments with prayers and well wishes, thankful that he's safe. The footage quickly went viral, showing just how dangerous the accident was. For now, Deiveson seems to be recovering well and has reassured everyone that he's okay. Moving on to another news, Chris Weidman is set to face Anderson Silva in a boxing match on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. In a recent sit-down with Daniel Cormier, Weidman opened up about their second fight in the UFC, the one forever remembered for Silva's horrific leg break. Reflecting on that night, Weidman admitted he didn't realize the extent of Silva's injury until he heard him scream. At that moment, he thought Silva was just hurt, maybe from a checked kick, but when he turned around and saw his leg twisted, he knew it was something terrible. He explained that heading into that fight, he felt confident. In the first round, he managed to drop Silva with a clean shot to the temple, followed by hard ground and pound. He said he mentally and physically broke Silva at that point because everything was going his way. Silva, on the other hand, came into that rematch much more serious. After getting knocked out in their first encounter with his hands down, Silva faced massive backlash from fans. So in the rematch, he fought more traditionally with his guard up, focusing on pure kickboxing fundamentals. Weidman noted that when Silva had his hands down in the first fight, it was actually tougher to deal with him. The unpredictability, the emotion and the taunting made things chaotic. But in the second fight, Silva was more cautious, more technical, and easier to read. Weidman said it made his job simpler because he could see the strikes coming. He remembered checking Silva's first leg kick perfectly, something he'd never done before, and it gave him a sense of control early in the second round. That wasn't the kick that caused the break, though. As the round continued, Silva threw another leg kick, this time without setting it up, and Weidman checked it clean. At first, he thought Silva was just hurt, maybe bruised or shaken, and believed he had broken Silva mentally and physically. Weidman even started celebrating, running around the octagon thinking he'd just won decisively. Then he heard Silva's agonizing scream. Turning around, he saw the gruesome sight, Silva's leg completely broken. Weidman said in that moment, it was impossible to be happy. Even though he had won, the injury overshadowed everything. In the post-fight moment, as his coaches came in cheering, he tried to smile, but deep down, he felt devastated. The sight of Silva's leg, the sound of that scream, and the shock of realizing what had happened made it one of the hardest moments of his career. Years later, the irony would come full circle when Weidman suffered nearly the same injury against Uriah Hall. Moving on to another news, Jorge Masvidal has shared his honest thoughts on the lightweight title picture, and he doesn't believe Justin Gaethje deserves to fight Ilia Topuria next. Speaking about the division's current state, Masvidal said he respects Ilia's rise, but thinks there are better matchups to make. "I think Ilia's legit, bro," Masvidal said, "but if you ask me what fight I'd rather see, I'd like to see him against Paddy Pimblett. There's already history there, and it just makes sense." Masvidal explained that, from a fan's perspective, Ilia versus Paddy would be a more exciting and meaningful fight than throwing Gaethje straight into a title shot. "Gaethje's my boy, don't get me wrong," Masvidal continued, "but I just don't see how he gets that fight when Max Holloway ended him. That's not me being disrespectful, that's just facts. Max beat him, and Max also beat Dustin. So, if we're talking about who's really at the top, you've got to give some credit to Max Holloway." He went on to say that even though Ilia just beat Max at featherweight, the rankings and performances across divisions still matter. "Someone correct me if I'm wrong," Masvidal added, "but the number one contender at 155 should still be Max Holloway. He beat Dustin, he beat Gaethje, and his name value is massive. If anyone deserves to be in the mix for a lightweight title shot, it's Max." Masvidal didn't stop there. He brought up Arman as another strong candidate who's earned his spot through consistency and tough fights. "I think Arman should be right there too," he said, "but I know the UFC had some issues with him, maybe about missing weight. They said they wanted him to fight one more time before giving him a title shot. I think he's fighting Dan Hooker next month, so if he wins that, then yeah, give our boy the title shot." Masvidal wrapped it up by saying the lightweight division is stacked with incredible talent, and no matter what happens, fans are going to get some amazing fights. "At the end of the day, there are a lot of good fights," he said. "Everybody can make predictions, but when you actually go out there and make history, that's when you're cemented as one of the greats. That's what it's all about, man. It's going to be really good.